Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, of course, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is deleted, and they originally posted this to r/AmITheAsshole February 2nd, 2019. Hey! That was actually the date that I founded the Oz Media channel. Am I the asshole for starting a civil war at the workplace? I work at Target as an early morning stalker. Me and the unload team come in early in the morning, and the first thing we do is unload the truck full of merchandise. That involves standing at a conveyor belt type line and grabbing our assigned boxes and sorting them on our assigned pallets and flats. We recently hired a new guy who we'll just call Michael. He's well liked among some people here because he makes them laugh and talks in a funny voice. It's actually pretty immature since he's in his 30s, but people like it for whatever reason. I'm of the opinion that there's a time and a place for goofing off and making people laugh, and work isn't one of them. Anyway, he works the line, and it's constantly getting backed up and congested because he's just standing around, socializing, and talking in his little annoying voices. There was even one time when the line got backed up because he was standing around and trying to hit the high note on Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. A bunch of boxes fell off the line because it got all backed up, and our bosses started yelling at us because Michael is a lazy jack-off. Last week, it was more of the same. The line was completely congested because Michael wasn't working it, and he was more focused on trying to do his Pee Wee Herman impression. I tried pushing the line, but he gave me a dirty look and yelled at me that the line was stalled. I yelled back at him, maybe the line wouldn't be stalled if you weren't standing around making your stupid fucking noises. Some girls nearby gasped, as if that was the worst possible thing I could have said to him. He yelled at me to not talk back to someone who's older than him, and I responded that I'll yell at anybody not doing work, regardless of age. Me and him kept shouting at one another, and other employees had to break us apart. We both got pulled into the boss's office and got a lecture, but I thankfully didn't get fired. Unfortunately, Michael didn't either. That was last week, and the store is in complete disarray because of the incident with me and Michael. Some employees have come to me and said that I did the right thing by calling him out, but others apparently think that I'm the asshole. One girl even went up to me and told me that Michael is a nice guy and that I don't know how to have fun. There have been 2 physical fights about the whole thing. One guy went up to Michael and called him an annoying sack of shit. And one of Michael's friends got pissed and a fight broke out. They both got fired, and the day after that, practically the same thing happened. Now we have coworkers who are taking either my side or Michael's. Former friends are being put against one another since they disagree on whether or not Michael is annoying and lazy, and our boss has even held a team meeting to discuss tensions and warn us against furthering this conflict. What do y'all make of this? Verdict, not the asshole. Update, February 5th, 2019, 3 days later. Regarding the first post, the consensus was that I was not the asshole and that I did nothing wrong. At least in terms of everyone at work taking sides and fighting over the whole me versus Michael incident. But things completely blew up today at work and multiple people were fired as a result. Things started yesterday when someone broke into Michael's locker and poured a whole bulk bottle of hand sanitizer in his backpack. His backpack contained stuff like spare clothes and even his wallet, and apparently they were all ruined. Nobody knows who did it, but before we started the unload on the truck today, our team lead held a meeting and he said that he's going to start firing people who continue to escalate this situation. One idiot spoke up and said, "Go ahead and try. You don't have the power to fire us." And guess what? He got fired on the spot. The team lead made him turn in his name badge and discount card right there in front of us and sent him out. Tensions were already high to start the day and our team lead was in a bad enough mood as it was, but the unload was when things got ugly. During the unload, the line got stalled again, and take a wild guess whose fault it was. Fucking Michael. His part of the line stopped everything from moving, and that was because he was playing on his phone and trying to look up a song. I would have thought that he learned from the last time, but apparently not. I was honestly thinking that maybe he was trying to goad me into yelling at him again, so I held my tongue. the line started moving again. But then it gets stopped because Michael starts talking to a girl and talking like Donald Duck. I snapped again and I yelled, "Michael, knock it off!" Michael didn't say anything, but the girl he was talking to got up in my face and yelled at me to leave Michael alone and stop singling him out. But before I could even respond to her, one of Michael's friends chucks a box at me, but it accidentally hits the girl that was yelling at me. She fell to the ground crying, and Michael's friend kept apologizing, but the girl's friend jumped him and started slapping him. He shoved her to the ground, and a whole bunch of people were stepping in and trying to break them apart. Right when it looked like things were starting to calm down, Michael says, "None of this would have happened if certain people knew how to keep their mouths shut." That jab at me really got to me, and I shoved him back into a pallet. A whole mountain of boxes came crashing down on him, and that's when one of his other friends jumped me, pulled me to the ground, and started punching me. I tried to fight back, but he was pulled off, and I saw that our team lead was prying a whole bunch of people off of one another. The team lead yelled, "All of you out!" And he started yelling about how he's sick of this job and how he hates babysitting us. At least 5 people, including me, were fired today. And on top of that, the team lead quit on the spot. And get this, I end up getting a call from the store manager and she tells me that the entire flow team is in complete chaos and we don't have enough people to unload this morning's truck, that we never finished, and she blames me. She tells me not to ever come into the store again and that she might press charges for being disruptive and violent. So what I will agree on is the fact that Michael was kind of letting his shenanigans and immaturity get in the way of people getting their work done and actively making things harder for everyone else and causing holdups in the line. Yeah, that sucks of Michael. He definitely shouldn't be doing that. But additionally, no one in this story has any experience in conflict de-escalation or conflict resolution. Like, everyone here sucks at it. And I 100% understand the team lead basically going, "You know what? Fuck this shit. You're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, and you're fired, and I fucking quit." I get that. I feel that. Dude planned on leaving and took some people with him because fuck it. He's no longer babysitting. But it could also 100% be argued that the team lead just didn't do his fucking job by keeping Michael, the 30-year-old, from not distracting people and not causing a backup on the line. And by saying it could 100% be argued, I mean, I'm arguing this fact. I just find it funny the team lead took people with him. But dude failed his responsibilities as team lead. His job was to make sure that all of his employees were ensuring the maximum productivity available and not doing Donald Duck voices or on their phone looking up songs. The thing too is that I was 100% with OP until they fell for Michael's rage bait and decided to put their hands on him. Not the way to approach that. This post was collected by Glumcraft4652. The original OP is PixieDust216, posted in r/mytheasshole March 3rd, 2023, with the final update being November 16th, 2025. Am I the asshole for acting like a spoiled brat after learning my older sister was adopted? I'm a 15 female, and I have an older sister, Lila, 17 female. Recently, I found out that Lila was adopted before I was born. My mother was considered infertile. I was a 1 in a million miracle baby that defied the odds. So, she and my father adopted Lila. Throughout my life, they've been pretty good parents. They loved us both, and they've never treated Lila and me any differently. But then, Lila discovered she was adopted, and no, they didn't tell either of us. After some initial "why didn't you tell me" and identity issues, Lila seemed fine. I don't know if she was, but she seemed normal. She was at first angry at them for keeping it a secret, but eventually cooled off. But for the past 4 months, my parents have been prioritizing Lila. They told me they assure Lila that blood doesn't change family/makeup for keeping the fact that she was adopted from her, etc. I think they feel guilty. I get wanting to reassure Lila that, blood or not, she's part of this family, but they have been continuously favoring Lila for these past months. They missed my high school play, instead staying home and serving snacks to Lila and her friends during movie night. On my birthday, they got Lila a freaking car for my birthday. They've been going on dates with her, serving her favorite meals, getting her little gifts, getting nothing from me, and missing out on my things for Lila. I'm not really trying to sound like a spoiled brat, but I feel like in trying to make Lila feel like she still belongs, they're neglecting me. I don't even think Lila wants it. I mean, what 17-year-old wants to spend loads of time with her parents? It all came boiling out last Monday. There was traffic on my way home from school, so my parents and Lila were eating dinner. They had gotten Chinese from Lila's favorite restaurant and were all eating when I came and walked in. I overheard my mom telling Lila, "We choose you for our family. I loved you without even birthing you, without hormones telling me to. I feel like that's the most important thing of all." I don't know, but it kind of felt like a dig. It got me thinking, if my mom didn't give birth to me, would she love me any less? If it wasn't me she gave birth to, she won't ever know the difference. She would just love that child because hormones told her to. I blew up. I ran into the room crying. I told my family, "I guess we're not really family, right? Since you didn't choose me?" I then ran into my room. My parents said they were sorry if I thought Lila was being prioritized, but they also said I should apologize to Lila as they were having an emotional discussion that I interrupted by barging in and yelling. They said I was old enough not to be a spoiled baby. Okay, they didn't exactly say that, but they said I was acting spoiled, hence the title. That I knew this was hard on Lila and should be nicer. I'm just done. So exhausted and fed up with this all. I've barely spoken to them since Monday, so am I the asshole? Alright, I just want to clarify one thing. So when my parents got Lila a car for my 15th birthday, they said it was for both of us. But in my country/state, 15-year-olds are only allowed to drive with a learner's permit. My parents said they got me a car because it was my 15th birthday. I was gonna get a learner's permit. Blah, blah, blah. But I couldn't drive the car until I had a learner's permit. And Lila has a driver's license. And the car was a pickup truck, a style Lila has said she always wanted. So it was pretty clear it was Lila's car. Top/relevant comments. Crimson Wolf 83. Not the asshole. Your parents are insane. Nearly 2 decades of good parenting is being destroyed by them, and they don't care. OP responds, "Looking back now, I think my mom was always a bit of a narcissist and my dad a pushover. Like, she would buy me clothes that definitely weren't my style in an effort to make me more like her. But they're not bad parents, just made a few pretty big mistakes." OP's response to a big comment. First off, thank you for this message. You seem like a great person. A few hours after I posted the initial post, Lila actually apologized for our parents. Things have been a little tense in the house, but we went for a joyride in her new car. I have no idea about my parents, but I've been talking with Lila, and apparently, this whole thing started when she mentioned wanting to find her biological parents. My parents kinda blew up and started trying to prove to her that she didn't need them. Blah, blah, blah. User Fancy Association 484. I was so ready to call you an asshole in the beginning, but holy cow. I'm so sorry. Not the asshole. Can you spend some time at a grandparent or on an uncle's house? I'm actually worried about you. You are worthy of love no matter what. OP responds, "Well, my parents aren't like physically abusive, and I can handle emotional abuse, so no grandparents yet. But things are still definitely rocky in her house. Lila told me she's thinking of going to her aunt's. She's like around an hour away, because of this whole thing. I'll go if she goes, because I'm not going to be with my parents alone, but otherwise, I can still fly under the radar. There's still hyper-focus on Lila, now even more so because I'm acting so jealous and petty." User Roman1969 comments, "Copy this post and comments email to your parents. Sometimes it's overwhelming to express yourself face-to-face, but you've written about your hurt very well here. Also, it should be pointed out to your folks that they're causing a rift between yourself and your sister. For fear of losing your older sister, they've overcompensated and may eventually lose you if they don't fix things. Your parents have completely fucked up and mismanaged the entire scenario. And buying your sister a car on your birthday? What the fuck is that? Hard not the asshole. Not by a long shot." OP responds, "I'm gonna do that. They were really good parents when I was younger, and I love my sister. I just want things to go back to normal." Updates from the main post. Update 1. So, update time. First off, I've been reading all your messages, and thank you. So much. I honestly thought the vote would be a little more divided, so Lila and I took a joyride. Rereading my post, I think I was jealous and a little angry at Lila, which she totally did not deserve. Those were just my feelings, but anyway, Lila and I got to talking. Turns out she mentioned wanting to find her birth parents, which is how this whole mess started. My parents flipped, taking Lila wanting to find her birth parents as some kind of attack instead of simple curiosity. Things are definitely still rocky in my house, but Lila's on my side. We're both searching for her parents together. Some of you suggested showing this post to my parents. I think I'm going to show it to my grandmother or my aunt first and get their advice. None of my family uses Reddit, so there's no chance of them coming across this post. I just want my parents back. Update 2. So, I'm going to talk to my aunt and grandmother, but first I thought I should update you because some things went down. So, Lila confronted our parents, and by confronted, I mean blew up. They both cried. Turns out she isn't over them never telling her about her adoption, and really reamed into them for that. Should have been obvious, but I guess she just seemed fine to me. She said, "You're so scared of empty nest syndrome that you're gonna end up pushing 2 daughters away. I don't feel like part of the family with you guys favoring me and acting like I'm gonna run away at first glance." Then stormed off. Because of this little spat, my dad actually gave me a real apology, not butts or gaslighting. My mom hasn't given me an apology per se, but we've talked about the whole "we chose you, hormones didn't make us do it" thing. I'm gonna do what some of you suggested and send this post to them. I'm not gonna cut them out, I'm still only 15, but I do have some form of escape plan. I don't think they're toxic, just humans who've made a mistake and now are trying to make up for it with other mistakes. Okay, I talked to my aunt and grandmother and they gave me some advice. My winter break is coming up, so I'm going to stay with them for that week just to let things cool off. When I told them I was going to stay at my aunt's, my dad seemed resigned while my mom started crying. She said it felt like she was losing both of her daughters. I suggested family therapy, and it seemed like it was well received. I'll update you guys if they schedule an appointment. For right now, I'm just operating like I'm permanently moving out and seeing what comes from there. Final update. 2 years and 8 months later. November 16th, 2025. I don't think anyone really cares about this, but I recently reread my old post and decided to write a short update. In my last post, I talked about how my parents were kind of narcissistic. Not true, just 15-year-old me experiencing teenage angst and starting her emo phase. Being sometimes self-centered or attention-seeking is completely different from being a narcissist. My experience doesn't even come close to what someone who was actually raised under that abuse. It's a late apology, but I'm sorry. Lila and I are good, better now since she actually went away to college, and I realize I like spending time with her when I wasn't forced to be in her proximity. We send each other random memes and texts, but we don't see each other that often. She did reconnect with her bio family, and my parents and I flew out to meet them, and they were so nice. They gave her up because Lila had some health complications that required surgeries they could not afford. Since she was still in the baby age, they knew it was most likely she'd be adopted right away and could have a life without the complications, which she did. We also got to meet Lila's bio extended family, which was the best part of the trip. So many of them cried upon seeing her walking and kept on thanking my parents. The bio family and ours aren't really close, but it was nice to meet them. I did stay with my aunt for 2 weeks. She was kind, but she also had her own life going on, so I ended up alone a lot. I started journaling, which has done wonders for my mental health. That was the kick in the teeth my parents needed. They looked for therapists, but it took another few months before they found one covered by their insurance. In the meantime, I moved back in, and it was bad and good. We argued because I was a kid, still am, but my mom and dad did this thing where they chose one singular spot for each of us where we'd hang out. From mine, it was this spa around a half hour away from my dad, and a small dog park for my mom. We also adopted a dog. Anyway, now I'm applying to college, and life sucks. Top/relevant comments. User OKChicken2600 comments. In your original post, you mentioned maybe showing it to your parents. Did you ever get to do that? OP responds, yes, Sorry, I thought I already mentioned that. I showed my aunt before I showed my parents. Asked if I could stay with her over winter break. During winter break, I sent the post to my parents, so I was out of their firing range just in case. That's when they started trying to get me to come home and looking for therapy. Driftwood256 comments, I LOL'd at your last line. I hope that was meant to be funny. Use your busy shrew comments. I laughed too. Having a daughter who is now in third year uni, having come out of the other side of the hell process that is university application time, I have lots of sympathy for OP. But glad to hear her update and that things are getting worked out. Her parents sounded unbalanced, but it also sounds like they're trying to right the ship. User the Closet NB comments, I'm glad to hear you and Lila and your parents are doing better. Being a teenager is hard. Emotions are very intense. Both you and Lila went through a big learning situation that your parents thought they'd be able to hide from both of you. They were unprepared and handled it terribly. Thanks for the updates and good luck with college. So what I'm hearing is the real villain of this story is the US healthcare system. Nice. But when it comes to OP and their family, I just gotta say this is a good example of things not always being black and white, and there always sometimes being a gray area down the middle here. And that also means the solution to approach it is never black and white. It's gonna be equally as gray. In this one, in the process of the parents trying to make sure that their adopted daughter felt as though she was part of the family, they inadvertently alienated both at the same time. That was never their goal, but that was certainly the result. You know, there's a reason why we have the saying, good intentions can pave the road to hell. Or something along those lines. Honestly, I'm just happy that this is a best of that caps itself off very nicely and feels as though things actually are looking up in a positive manner. Except for OP having to apply for colleges and going through hell on that front. Other than that, things seem to be looking up and up, and a solution was found that didn't involve going no contact. So good on OP. This post was collected by Glumcraft4652. The original OP is Throw RA Brother Prob, posted in r/relationship advice December 12th, 2020. My brother is living with me in secret, and my mom thinks I'm cheating on my husband. About 2 weeks ago, my, female 25, sister-in-law, female 32, dropped a bombshell on my brother, male 29, that their youngest, 5 female, might not be his child because she had been sleeping with her ex-boyfriend at the time they got pregnant. He showed up on my doorstep and asked if he could stay with me while he figured this stuff out. I of course said yes, and made up the guest room for him. My brother asked if I could help keep the situation private while he figures out his next moves, and especially not tell our parents. My mom has an incredibly close relationship with my sister-in-law, and with how she treated her older sister, who divorced her husband after he cheated on her, she doesn't view cheating as something worth divorcing over. Basically, the other day my mom and I were on FaceTime and I was showing her how my quarantine garden was coming along. My back was facing the house, and during the call, she briefly saw my brother pass by a window with his shirt on. She ended up cutting the call short and left me confused, until she called me back last night and lectured me on how I was betraying my husband and that marriage is a promise for a lifetime. She said she understood I was lonely, but this was not the way to handle things. My husband has been in Canada, we live in the States, since April with his father, who is in kidney failure and struggling with other illnesses, and is looking like he won't make it past Christmas at this point. He is aware of the situation and aware of not telling my parents anything. I couldn't explain to my mom and tried playing it off that she was just seeing things, but she didn't buy it. I told my brother what happened, and he's frustrated about it. He asked for a few more days to get his head straight, and then he will talk to our parents about it. But knowing him, those few days could turn into weeks. I don't want to spill to my parents, but this situation is incredibly uncomfortable. What do I do? Top/relevant comments. KittyBooBoo 2016. If your mom doesn't think cheating is something to divorce over, let her think what she wants. You told her you're not having an affair. What she chooses to think is up to her. Let your brother have his space. The truth will come out when he's ready, and you can all laugh about it. OP responds, I don't think there'll be any laughing if it comes down to divorce from my brother. When my mom's sister got divorced, she was very supportive and a shoulder to cry on. But when she filed for divorce, my mom pretty much disowned her for years, and the relationship still hasn't recovered. Basically, divorce is the worst of the worst for my mom over anything else, which is why this is so touching. But I do agree with giving him time. I can deal with being uncomfortable for a bit. Thank you for your reply. A deleted user responds, your mom is unreasonable. She cannot have it both ways. Sounds like it's a good time to set appropriate boundaries. Please give your brother that extra time. His world was shattered. That's more important than your judgmental mother. Hope he responds, yeah, that's just the surface of it with my mom, unfortunately. I'll be giving him the time he needs because I know he'd do the same for me if I was in his position. User Fragrant Spray comments, as long as your husband knows what's going on, I don't think this is a big problem. It'll eventually get sorted out when your brother makes a decision to deal with this, and then you can explain the situation to her. Is your brother waiting for paternity test results? Opie responds, my husband is aware. I called him and told him what happened after my mother accused me. My brother has been too depressed to do a paternity test yet, but I'm encouraging him to have one done. But I think he's scared of the results. He doesn't want to lose his daughter. User Faith E. Lou comments, I'm so sorry your brother is going through something that is so heartbreaking and life-changing. You said his youngest. I'm assuming they have more than one child? Do you think he should have all DNA tested? How long has she been cheating? And is she still having her ex as an affair partner? Has he been taking any steps to speak with anybody? You, your husband, a friend, his wife, a therapist? It is a lot to take in and absorb. He needs to get out of his head and use his words. The betrayal of her cheating is hard to accept, then the question of his daughter. His name would be on the birth certificate. He will not lose his daughter unless his wife goes to court and amends it. Hugs to you both. OP responds, I haven't even thought about that as a possibility. His oldest is 9. From what I know, she told him she was seeing her ex for 3 months when she got pregnant with my niece, but who knows if that's the whole truth. Him and his wife are having very limited contact. He calls at night to talk to the kids and sort of ignores anything she says and hangs up quickly when the kids are done. I have a friend who is a psychiatrist and will be reaching out to her for recommendation of someone he can speak to. So far, it's only been me, and he's telling me more as he processes it. Thank you for this though. When I get home from work, I will be researching for a lawyer to contact on Monday. I don't think he will do it himself anytime soon. Deleted user. Mom can believe that it is wrong to cheat, but that cheating is not worth leaving the marriage over? A lot of people believe this after going through being cheated on or having close family members go through these types of life experiences. This is a common belief for older people, and probably most Catholics, because there was a real stigma surrounding divorce. Also in the past, it was more common for women to be stay-at-home mothers. It would be very hard to leave that life, put your kids in daycare, and go get a low-wage job. So, rather than deal with the hardship and social alienation of divorce, people just work through their issues. I don't think that it reflects poorly on OP's mom. She just is a product of her times. That's possibly OP's mom's life experience and very likely the world she grew up in. OP responds, this. My mother is a very religious Mormon and her parents divorced when she was young and had to live between 2 states. I don't think she ever forgave them for that. Deleted user comments, just keep it going for a bit. Your bro needs your help and support right now. He just found out not only was he cheated on, but his child might not be his. That sucks. Hobie responds, it has been really hard seeing him like this. The only thing getting him out of the guest room is his job. Main post edits. Edit 1. I'm currently at work, but I'm thankful for all the replies and reading through all of them. Edit 2. Just want to clarify, I already replied to one commenter, but my husband is aware of what my mom thinks is going on and why my brother is staying with me. Edit 3. I really am thankful for everyone who has commented. When I get home from work tonight, I will be looking into getting mental and legal help for my brother. Also, for those asking why I didn't just say it was him visiting, I'll be honest, I panicked. I was nervous if I mentioned him to our mother, she'd call his home and talk to sister-in-law and find out everything. Considering how much my mom loves my sister-in-law, she'd take her side and try to intervene and guilt-trip my brother into going back to her. I could have been much smarter in that moment. Final update, 2 weeks later, December 25th, 2020. Update, my brother is living with me in secret and my mom thinks I'm cheating on my husband. So it's been about 2 weeks since I posted, and a lot has happened since then. I guess to start off, about 2 days after I made the post, the cat was out of the bag about my brother and his wife. My mom did end up calling over to my brother's house and spoke with his wife, I think about something Christmas related, and she ended up breaking down in tears and telling our mom everything. Long story short, our mom is relieved I'm not cheating on my husband and was upset that we felt we couldn't trust her to side with my brother before decisions were made. We had a big talk as a family and understood why she felt the way she did towards divorce, and she even admitted she regrets how she acted when her own sister was getting divorced. She felt like her sister was ruining her child's life like her parents did to them by having them live half lives in different states. Overall, we grew closer as a family after that. On to the other things. We got a lawyer through one of our lawyer cousins who has a colleague that specializes in family law and divorces. He also got a paternity test, and thankfully, it came back that his daughter is in fact his. I had to do a bit of tough love to get this rolling. However, his wife isn't doing well. After the paternity test came back, she thought they could work it out, but when he told her no, she ended up trying to hurt herself. I won't go into too much detail, but she's no longer in their shared home and is instead living with her parents while my brother moved back in with the kids. I think he's happier now that he has the kids around him again. Currently, looking into getting therapy for the children as they were present when their mother tried to hurt herself. And my brother will be starting therapy after the new year. I'm optimistic it'll be okay. My husband is still in Canada with his family. My father is doing good, but he at least gets to have one last Christmas with him before he passes. I think that's all we can ask for. I'm grateful to everyone that commented and messaged me with advice, and my brother appreciates it as well. I'm looking forward to having Christmas dinner with my mom, my brother, and niece and nephew. With all the hell that's been this year, it'll be nice to have this one moment. Top/relevant comments. User Dom18256. You're an amazing sister, wife, and daughter. You deserve nothing but joy, and I hope 2021 can bring it for you. User Sikrim. I've seen self-harm a lot in these cheating/divorce stories. Could be a chance for your brother to push for more or even full custody. Your brother is lucky to have great family supporting him. Good luck and happy holidays. User Gryffindor Perfect Prefect. Fuck. I am losing it right now. Sending love to all you and the kids especially. Heart emoji. Their mother is incredibly selfish for what she did. I'm saying this as someone who witnessed her mom almost commit suicide. That image will literally never leave, but thankfully, they have all the support and love that they will need. I'm certainly glad they're getting the kids in therapy because that is something that's definitely going to require therapy. I'm glad that most of the situation turned out alright and things did somewhat work out, but that doesn't fix the fact that those kids are going to have lasting trauma because of what they saw. I can only really agree with that commenter and hope that after what those kids saw, that OP's brother is in fact able to get full custody. In the meantime, I still have a lot of audio to edit and a lot of the video to edit, and I gotta upload the video, and then I gotta go to bed. So I still got a lot I gotta do. But yeah, hopefully this is actually up by 6 o'clock when I normally get it up. And if it's not, it means I fell asleep while editing. Again. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code OZ at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code OZ directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Bear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code OZ at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.